Yeah, my people. So this is the chick. You get what I'm saying? This is the chick. Look at it. Listen.
Jamaica, World Cup is going on, and I have a question. Why are we as Jamaicans supporting Brazil over Haiti?
So first and foremost, we Jamaicans go support Brazil over our own country too. So when you have a forward ask a question why Jamaicans are support Brazil over Haiti, why Jamaicans are support Brazil over Jamaica?
All right, so that was dunceness by someone who called himself a genius, aka Krish Genius, right? I don't know what Krish is. I know what a Chris name being Chris is being okay with, but Krish, then a genius, he ain't no genius. Because if Jamaica had made it to World Cup, Jamaica would definitely support Jamaica over Brazil if they were to meet in a match. But Jamaicans will definitely support Jamaica and support Brazil at the World Cup. Until they meet, you would see Jamaica supporting Jamaican. Unless they're playing worthless, then we'll say, fuck it. I'm done with supporting Jamaica. Brazil is playing way better and Jamaica ain't doing shit, so let us just work with Brazil. It's all intelligence, you know what I mean? And they're both our side. They both connected deeply to us, okay? From Pele days, okay? And we should not forget Pele and his successes, what he has done to the game, what he has brought to the game. What have Messi and Ronaldo brought to the game? More than the fact that they are great goal scorers, which Pele wasn't short of being a goal scorer. You know what I mean? They haven't brought anything new to the game, really. You know what I mean? One of the last greatest footballers we had was Ronaldinho. Okay? No one is better than him. And he may not have scored as many goals as those who y'all be praising nowadays as the modern, modern kings of football. And the thing is, we can't forget our past and who started it, who brought it to life from the beginning, just like God made all the earth and everything's in it, right? And we should now forget God and be praising or thankful of something else. Nah, come on. Intelligence.
That can be asked, you understand what I say? But then again, Jamaica no got World Cup since 98. And as I said, Brazil have the largest black population outside of Africa. And for the long and short.
Okay, so it's not really the fact of them having the largest population of blacks outside of America. But that do make some sense, as in when we're talking about the very beginning from how Jamaica caught the, eyes of, how Brazil had caught the eyes of Jamaica. Maybe that's how it had started, you know what I mean? Because a lot of white people had, dominated sports from the beginning because, of racist era, black people weren't much involved. So that what he's saying makes some sense, I would agree, but not to this date per se, because as he said, he actually correct himself in a small way. So he definitely deserve a beating same way, because he made it clear that Jamaica never made it to the World Cup. And as I said before, that we would definitely support Jamaica over Brazil if Jamaica had made it to the World Cup. So it's not a matter of Jamaica supporting Brazil over Jamaica that Krish Genius or Krish Dunspat had said here. You see me? But big up him same way. Because remember saying enough too serious. So I guess Kartel say we can't take him genius too serious. You see me? That Kartel say, say Krish Genius. We can't take your genius too serious. You see me? But him don't know Kartel pre,
But I said Jamaicans support Brazil because Brazil feel like the dancehall of football. As in like the style, the flair, the rhythm, the confidence and everything there. Yeah, Brazil, that is Brazil. And then when you come out.
Yeah, I give him some credit for that. But I mean, the football thing have changed. And Ronaldinho had some things to do with how the ball is being played today, as well as for Europe, you know what I mean? The entire Europe, they largely have um, a reason why the football is being played as how it's being played today. The European League, help for people to, because they play majority of the time, while the World Cup is every 4 year or has been every 4 year, and they're looking to shorten it to every 2 year. But I don't know how long it's gonna take for them. So the fact that the World Cup would play every 4 year, and you got the English Premier League playing right through like the NBA playoff yearly, so that have helped to influence and to, for the modern way of how the football is being played by the newer generation of today. You know what I'm saying?
Vybz, when they come on to vibes and all of these things, who beat Brazil? You understand? Brazilians' energy, it's unmatched, bro. Remember, I said the Brazilians, them, all when them play professional football, them are the life of the party,
Well, hopefully we can see that when Brazil meet the big team. Because Brazil have always played good against the big team, Even when Germany had gave them 7-love, they had fall off form because Brazil had started out that game playing good, But once they lost the form and the confidence had lost, and that's just how football is. Everything is like mentally, and like spiritually. It's not just physical, it's mental. So once everyone is in a good mental state, and scoring an early goal can break the mental state of your opponent, so that's just what happened. It was a mental state, and they weren't aligned together as a team mentally for Brazil, why German was able to give them that 7. But they played just as well as Germany, you know what I mean? And Germany are some very strong people. Sean Storm, big up Sean Storm. Him definitely stand for Germany. As me big up Sean Storm. Kartel say Argentina. Me say Brazil. Beanie say Brazil. What do you say? We don't know yet. But I suppose Brazil do you say, You see me? Do you look like a Brazil man? Zin? Who else are the big star? Busy Signal. Him look like him want. Busy no look like him stand for Brazil, But I'm not surprised if Busy Signal say Brazil. Cause Busy Signal, him look like a Brazil fan, but him look like him will switch on, Me is a Brazil and Spain fan, You see me? Spain on my second side, my black up plan. Spain at the black up side. If Brazil fail, a Spain me I go fall black pan. You see? So I just one of them thing there.
And Jamaicans are the same. And bro, we Jamaicans will love entertain. We like to be entertained. And you see how Brazil play football? Brazil play football with skills, flair, and them look at thing. Be entertainment, bro. So when you watch a Brazil game, it's never boring. You always like Brazil always a forward with the sauce. To the man,
yeah, that are true. Them have this pass where them cushion them pass different. Them play with a rhythm, definitely for true. You know what I mean? Yeah, but as I say, the majority of players nowadays, like the school kids, the community youth, anytime you see them playing ball, it's never that Brazil rhythm they're playing, especially here in Jamaica. You know what I mean? One time, definitely, the similar pattern you'd see most Jamaican playing similar to that of Brazil. But nowadays, it's the Europe style they're using. And Brazil is using that Europe style too. And that makes Brazil even more powerful because they got their own original style from Pele days. And, they also are advanced, getting to know and experiencing that European League formation and that way of playing the game. So, that put Brazil above everything. And Brazil is a side that they don't go too hard on small team. They just play around. And that can be a downfall too when you toy with your food or toy with someone who is inferior to you. Because that can be your downfall. You got to learn how to take everything serious. And that is why World Boom, the selector Boom Boom, should know that we're serious about celebrating Brazil win, even if it's just a small side, because anything is possible. The lesser experience, the lesser, better team can beat the more experienced team that is officially better.
the flank of them thing there, bro. Brazilian football, well, not no, obviously. But the Brazilian football where Musa we grew up on, that's one of the main reasons.
Alright, I'm in Jamaica. World Cup is going on.
Okay, so he corrected himself again. But why say things that you gotta correct after? He done it twice now, right? Because he had said in the beginning that Jamaica supported Brazil over our own Jamaican team, right? That is what he said, which is why he is saying that this woman should never ask this question of why Jamaica supporting Brazil over Haiti. Because according to Krish Genius, he believes that Jamaica supports Brazil over our own, which that isn't factual. It's not correct. So I had to correct that and say that Jamaica would definitely support Jamaica if Jamaica made it to the World Cup or if Jamaica is playing against Brazil, you know? And then there's a lot of Jamaicans who will tell you blunt and straightforward that if ever Jamaica and Brazil to meet in a match, there's a lot of Jamaicans who will let you know from the get-go that we're going to lose, which nothing is wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because Brazil is the better side, okay? But that doesn't mean that you're not supporting them. And then after Krish Genius said that Jamaica supports Brazil over our own Jamaican, he then corrected himself after by saying Jamaica never made it to World Cup. So it defeats the purpose of her even asking that. And it also defeats the purpose of him saying that Jamaica would support Brazil over our own, because it's not accurate. You know, so he failed to see that he was wrong there for saying that. You know what I mean? So I had to break it down. And then he went on further to now correcting himself again, you know, in the end about, you know, saying that, what was it that he had said again? That, oh yeah, yes. So he talked about the way of how Brazil play, and he had said that us as Jamaican, play with the same formation as Brazil, which I made it clear that was a long time ago, because now you got the European League, which have a more advanced way of how they play with speed and accuracy, precision, you know, and that's the way we see where most players of today is playing the ball game. You know what I'm saying? And then he went after and corrected himself and said that after he made the point saying that Jamaica play with the same rhythm and style as Brazil, he went after and saying that it's not today, it was more a long time ago, which that was what I said, you know? So he keeps saying things and then correcting himself, and, you know, there's no genuinity there. Genuinity. You know what I mean? You're not genuinity. Yes, so, you know, Krish Genius. You know, don't take the genius too serious. See, that Kartel say. So I'm out now, guys. Make sure, say, if you don't like what I go on, you support. See? Because we have a lot of things coming. We're busy over the weekend.